Hello, everybody. This is Carl back again for another discussion video, and it's not going to be too long. I just really want to give my 2 cents on this kind of situation. Uh, to I like to talk about movies and games and all sorts of things, and this kind of coincide with movie-esque because these are actors. Uh, went on and earlier in this week with the situation with Keke Palmer, then later Jonah Hill. Both actors I really admire and like a lot of the stuff they're in. Great actors in their own right, very successful in their own right. Nobody's ever going to take that away from them. But the level of heat, that's coming down, well, not directly on Keke Palmer, but kind of sort of, but mostly for like her boyfriend that she very recently had like a child with, and this ex who starts posting private text messages that she used to have with Jonah Hill, coincidentally not long after it was announced that his new current girlfriend is pregnant with his kid. It's kind of odd. Anyway, first we'll go with the whole Keke Palmer situation. Like I said, I love Keke Palmer. She's amazing. Obviously a great person, great actress. Nobody's disputing that. She went to an Usher concert, and of course, if you've gone to an Usher concert, which I really wanted to go when I went to Vegas, but didn't have that kind of extra cash to spend on a ticket, and you really got to put those in advance. But she, like many women before her, usually end up in like the front, who can afford like the front row tickets, always get the kind of like treatment where like he might single you out among in the seats, bring you up and serenade with you and everything like that, all fun and stuff like that. However, she wore this kind of sequence dress that, if you look it up, it's, revealing in some parts. And she started dancing with Usher while singing My Baby. Now, not too long after, and it was apartment, and that same night, the boyfriend saw this. Boyfriend named Darius something or other, I forgot his last name. Posted about like it's the dress for me though, it's your mom and stuff like that. Clearly not appreciating the outfit. He couldn't care less about the whole Usher part of it all, but he getting a lot of flack about like, oh, you want to talk about traditions, and like he's not traditional himself. He's he talking like he want husband privileges, but he's only a boyfriend, blah blah blah. And look, here's my take on it. And like, the only thing I have against him is he was so naive into posting that on the internet or the social media. And instead of being a man, waiting till his girl get home and having a private talk with her about how he feels uncomfortable about what she was wearing out to this concert. He probably could have given a damn about the whole situation with Usher, honestly. Sure, he might be a little tight about that, but that's not in the whole post. He didn't even put Usher's name into all that. He had a problem with the outfit in itself. And of course, people rain hell down on top of his head, which, you don't need to be like, Zuckerberg to, understand how social media will operate. And people calling him things like, misogynistic, controlling, insecure, these, just buzzwords at this point, instead of like you know, is the same thing they apply to Jonah Hill, which I'll get into, you know, that situation with him pretty soon, where it's just like, my question I bring up is like, when do we stop allowing guys, if they honestly feel a certain type of way, can freely express that without being labeled insecure, misogynistic, you know, and controlling? He generally feels that that dress is, you know, not kosher, and it's like he should be allowed to feel this way. He clearly, yeah, because people are, you know, most people are really like, you know, supporting Keke Palmer in this, because let's be honest, you're doing that because we grew up with Keke Palmer and we had like you know, some you know, weird association, you know, and because we all love her, and Keke Palmer's like, you know, a sister to a lot of people. And I'm pretty sure people will feel the same way about like Raven-Symoné. They're in that kind of bracket of like, we grew up with them, so we put them on like a high pedestal instead of looking at them like just normal human beings. And human beings have faults. And of course, since he's not as well known, I think he's still like an actor, just not on the same tier bracket as Keke Palmer, because she's been in the game a little bit longer than him. So since he's not as famous, people like dismiss his feelings outright, and it's like, he has every right to have a boundary. Now, I'm not sure what was discussed before she left their house, because maybe she left without him realizing what kind of outfit she had on. But if they, you know, he did, he probably had a discussion with her and she chose not to change. Now, is it relevant if he's a husband or a boyfriend? They're in a serious relationship. My take on this here: you enter in a serious relationship, there's some things like this coincides with Jonah Hill. You enter the relationship, there's things that you have to recalibrate in your head, because there are certain things you cannot do that you used to do when you're entering a relationship. He had a boundary. He said, I'm not cool with this. And he stupidly blasted it on social media, but ignoring that part, because that part is like something I think he's did wrong on. He shouldn't put her on blast like that on social media. He should just wait until you got home and had a talk. But beyond that, he didn't get with her because, oh, this is Keke Palmer, I can, like, you know, woo, like, I'm banging Keke Palmer. He didn't like that. He got to know Keke Palmer the person, not Keke Palmer the celebrity. He fell in love and had a serious relationship and a child by Keke Palmer the person. He could have given a damn about the celebrity part of it. He loved her, and they entered like a serious relationship. And he does not like the way she was wearing, and he's still the man of the relationship, and he feels a certain way that should still be respected. It may be a boundary that you're not agreeing with, or you may not have a problem with the outfit, like, but he clearly does. It doesn't matter what you think, or I think, or the next person think, or the mailman think, or the president thinks. That's his girl, the mother of his child. He has more say than what we do. If he has a problem with that, you gotta let these two handle it how they need to handle it. We may be supportive of Keke Palmer, we may like Keke Palmer, but we're not with Keke Palmer. He is. Darius is. So whether we agree with her outfit or we not have a problem with the outfit, he clearly does, and we should respect that, because he has mixed feelings about that. Okay, and we shouldn't just start throwing out words about him being controlling or manipulative or insecure or whatever. So what, he's insecure? We all insecure in one point or another in our lives. You can't, it's inevitable to live out a life on this planet without going through something that will make you insecure at one point or the other. You should not dismiss it or make it seem like he's less than for that. These two need to handle that privately, but they started unfollowing each other on social media, blah blah blah, which should not be indicative of how, what's going on in the relationship as a whole. But guys ask for so little in relationships because people say, oh, she used to just, like that, and like before he met her, like going through, like, my memory box of how Keke Palmer was, dressed whenever we see her out and about and stuff like that. Relatively, it's very modest, classy outfits. And yeah, she, after had the baby and her body snapped back and she wanted to show off, yeah, that's fine, that's cool, whatever. But clearly she was wearing something he felt was kind of a little revealing. There's like infinite amount of outfits women can choose from that by and large could easily be classy and form-fitting. You can still show off the curves and everything like that, but you don't need to see all this. You don't need the buttocks. And then I look at the video, she was fairly, kind of close, and like, you see, look at her hands, and she's like, around, his, Usher's neck, and yeah, she did a little spin thing. It was slightly much, but like I said, I don't think the Usher part of it he had a beef with, because he didn't add that to in that little feed. It was an outfit that seems a little like extra. And women, y'all been through this countless of times. I'm pretty sure y'all have stories where a guy is out about doing a certain thing that you feel a little tight on, like, hey, you gotta switch it up, because like, I don't want you out there, dancing like wilding out or what have you, woo woo. But then he'll be like supporting her for that, because we have to acknowledge her feelings. But if a guy has a problem, we don't, he doesn't get the benefit of acknowledging his feelings. He feels some type of way. We got, at the very least, whether we agree with it or not, have to respect that. And like girls, like, who supporting Keke Palmer in the dress is like, you're not seeing the way a guy would see it. You're only seeing it as like, oh, it's a cute outfit. She got a like snapback body, boo, boo, and all this other stuff. You're not seeing it in the terms of the, like how like a lot of guys will see it. It's like you wearing something. It's kind of the same way like any father would, like, see like their daughter going out, about. It's like, whoa, whoa, get back upstairs, change, like, like you're showing too much cleavage and blah blah blah. It's like you're. And this is why, like, because she was on like a girls trip in Vegas with her friends and everything like that. This is prime example why a lot of guys don't like if they in a serious relationship with a girl, they don't want to like them to go out on these girl trips, or at least not, as much as they used to, because clearly she's obviously been drinking. And like, don't put that whole celebrity, oh, she's, they're two celebrities, they're working, like, no, she's clearly off the clock. She's not acting with Usher in the middle of this Vegas concert. She's on her downtime. So don't go with that whole, they're celebrities and blah blah blah. Then he's on the clock, but she's not. What I was about to say, because you're pointing out like, oh, the outfit is cute looking, but like, no, he's clearly seeing it in a different way as a man would interpret it. And because he doesn't look at it as being like a cute outfit that with a snapback body and stuff like that. Looking at it like, yo, yeah, that's a little much. And it's just people like really kind of really rag on this guy, like he has a right to feel the way he feels. And as far as like the whole, this kind of leading to the whole Jonah Hill thing, where this ex clearly bitter, because that's call a spade a spade. She clearly bitter, posting very private message that these two, her and Jonah Hill, the surfer chick, clearly had, like, when they was in the relationship, had private texts that she decided to post online when things didn't work out between these two. Jonah Hill seems like a decently successful guy who, as we've seen from the text, I don't know why people are reading it as being controlling, or some people saying like, oh, he's wording it in a way to make it seem like, one way, but clearly it's a controlling kind of nature. And it's like, why can't you just look at it face value? And it's like he's trying to word it to kind of like break it off easy kind of situation, not seem like kind of an ass. And it's like he's clearly saying like, bro, yeah, because it's like yeah, because she was like a surfer, and like clearly he got in with her after she saw it and hooked up with her. Oh, it's fine before, but now when you're trying to like tell him to not do this anymore, tell her not to do this anymore, it's like, well, you liked it before, why is the problem now? Well, yeah, he's wording in text, he's like pretty frank. Look, I respect you clearly, but it's like, if you were going to this next level in this relationship, I'm going to need you to like nix the bikini pics. And I think that is a fair request, considering that the way you might not find Jonah Hill attractive is irrelevant. Clearly he's like a very successful man who made something from himself ever since Superbad. An Oscar nom kind of guy. She clearly bagged like a big fish with this kind of guy. Girls ask for a myriad of things and have a myriad of preferences when it comes to a significant other that a guy has to fulfill, which he clearly is a prime example of a guy fulfilling that particular job as like a high value man. And he's clearly took care of her. He didn't go around beating her or anything like that, or whatever various myriad of type of abuse that's coming up every new 2 freaking seconds that people trying to come up with. He's basically like, hey, we're entering this phase of relationship where like I don't feel comfortable with these bikini pics. And yes, he's a surfer, but surfer people have like full body wetsuits, but she clearly still fishing. Like that's how she caught him. Yeah, sure, she was doing all that before she met him, but that was single stuff. That's single girl stuff. When you enter a relationship, you gotta change a lot of that stuff. Sure, you can say it's part of her job or whatever like that. I don't know if she's like a professional surfer or anything like that, but there are certain things that you gotta move differently when you're in a serious relationship, whether you're married or just boyfriend and girlfriend. Well, either way, you're in a serious relationship. There are certain things you just cannot do. Oh, I remember the whole thing with the Keke Palmer. There was a other singer, Sweetie, is like I think her name is. I don't really listen to anything that she has, but like I recognize the name. She was also at like a Usher concert, days after the whole situation with Keke Palmer, and like Usher tried to get her up to sing serenade with her and everything like that, and she's kind of like, no, I'm good, bruh, kind of situation. Very respectful, and that's how you're supposed to behave. It's like when you're out and about, man or woman, and you're in a serious relationship, you still act like you act the same way you would as your significant other was right there with you. That's just kind of clear as day. Jonah clearly had a boundary of his own where it's like, yeah, like I know you're a surfer and you do these Instagram things, but it's like I don't want you to like, okay, the bikini stuff, pictures, that has to go. I don't want you to do that no more. He's not asking you to build a pyramid in the Sahara Desert for him. He just clearly just wants you to just like, because you got to ask yourself when you enter a relationship, is Instagram more important than the relationship I have with a guy that I believe I love, respect, admire, and like entering like a very serious relationship with? That he's, you know, because this thing with Jonah Hill and this Darius guy, it's like they're doing something with their lives. Cool, they're doing their part as a man in a relationship, you know, taking care of things as a man should, providing, protecting, blah 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 blah. All things men are expected to do, and we don't ask for much. All we're asking, or at least they're clearly asking, is just this one minute thing. Don't do whole stuff, for lack of a better word. Okay? It's like, we just want, you know, bare minimum, we expect loyalty. Bare minimum. And people, like I talked to, point out, like, you know, well, Darius, all these dudes shirtless, you know, pics on Instagram and stuff like that. Does he, you know, no, turn that down. It's not really the same thing. Because men, sure, you know, he's good looking, well in shape, and he probably gets a lot of likes. But Keke Palmer gets probably excessive amounts by comparison to him. But men and women attract the opposite sex in very different ways. And you take a you know, good looking, well cut, like, let's use like Chris Hemsworth, very well fit guy, very handsome, and you take someone like you know, I don't know, Cardi B. Now, they, you know, post a thirst trap respectively from each other. I imagine that Cardi B will have twice, if not 3 times more likes than what compared to what Chris Hemsworth would probably get. Chris Hemsworth would definitely get a significant amount, but it would be shit compared to what Cardi B would get. So it's 2 different things. Men and by and large women will, you know, definitely will, you know, jump on board with like they're a very attractive female. But if you also put this in an example, you take an average good-looking guy and he goes to one bar and he shouts like, "Hey, who wants to have sex with me?" By and large, he'll get like laughed at. And compared to a woman who'll probably walk out with 99% of the time, we'll walk out with like a long laundry list of numbers from people who might be takers. It's just, you know, it's just that way. Guys have to work at, you know, getting the girl. Jonah Hill had to still, despite being successful, he still had to probably still be charming and funny, come dressed to impress, you know, take her out to a fancy, you know, it doesn't have to be all the way fancy, I imagine, but take her a very nice, you know, set of dates and everything like that. Darius had to do his fair bit too. They still had to work at it. Well, women doesn't really have to do all that much. You know, they have their value from the jump as soon as they hit puberty. So it was on the onus on the guy to get the girl. It's the girl who has to retain the guy. If he checks, if the guy, Keke Palmer, and this, well, not anymore, she's an ex now for Jonah Hill, but it's just like, we managed to land a guy who doing well for himself, doesn't necessarily need to be a celebrity, but he's clearly doing well for himself. Clearly he checks a lot of your boxes. And if you love the guy, if you respect the guy, if he's doing well for you and by you, and you enter in a serious relationship, whether it's just boyfriend, girlfriend, or even if it took the next step and enter a marriage, clearly he fulfills, you know, your needs to be a partner to you. So if he does, because if he didn't, you wouldn't even entertain the guy in the first place, let alone enter a serious relationship with him. But if the guy is, checks, a lot of your boxes, and he's doing well by you, and he's nice to you, he's not like, beating you like Ike, or anything like that. And if he's doing all that stuff and he's asking for you to, like, stop a one particular thing that he probably isn't comfortable with, if you love the guy, there should be no pushback. And the most annoying thing a guy can hear from a girl is like, why, every time he, says, like, you probably should not do this. If he's fulfilling your very needs and you love him and you respect him and he's loyal to you, then there should be no why to that question. At least 90% of the time, there should be no why to the question. You kind of wasted a lot of your whys in a relationship. So if you just, minimize that to the more important things, like why we got to move to a different state for work, or, work-related purposes, or whatever, big stuff. But he asking you, because like I said, guys don't ask for much. If he just asks, like, hey, I don't want you to post any of these half-naked pics on Instagram anymore. Hey, I don't want you dressing this way. He's not controlling you. And then, like, people like to throw around the word control. It's like, he's clearly saying, like, if that doesn't meet your, if you don't agree with me on this point, then you're, hey, you're free to live your life, whatever like that. But I need a partner who will, like, understand this and stuff. This is his non-negotiable. And I think as a high value man, that is a very, you don't think high value men, whether you like Jonah Hill or not, he's clearly successful. You don't think a guy like that in his position will have every right to ask that. He doesn't want that, okay? He clearly will fulfill all your needs, but you got to give some, surrender something. And that's the point with getting to relationships. You got to adjust certain things from what you're used to. Like, though, Keke Palmer's situation is like, clearly this guy fulfilled, enough needs for her to even not only enter a relationship, but have a baby by. And it's just like, if the outfit is not good for, because, like, guys, if a good guy you're with, he's not going to lead you astray. He's not going to purposely, lead you into a pitfall. You obviously got to trust him on some level enough to be in a serious relationship with. So he's telling you not to do this for your benefit, because you're not seeing the way he's seeing it. He doesn't want you hanging out with certain guys because there's, because you have tons of guy friends, and even if they're single, well, especially if they're single, he doesn't want to hang out with them no more, because, at some point or another, they're going to try it. And it's like, oh, he doesn't trust me. It's like, it's not you. And Keke Palmer's, like, scenario is like a prime example of why you don't have, like, girls trips, because you're lit. Your friends, your single friends, most of them probably single friends, hyping you up, like, oh, girl, like, go dance with Usher, like, it's like, oh, girl, your outfit is banging, like, all that stuff, hyping your head up, you're liquored up, you're in Vegas, all that stuff in combination is exactly why guys don't want their serious girlfriend or wife going out on these kind of things, at least not all the time, or very minimal, if not non-existent, depending on the guy and his comfortability. But it's just like, you're putting this stuff in situations that it would threaten the relationship, the sanctity of the relationship. Just like with Jonah Hill, like, why he doesn't want her, his ex-surfer girlfriend to hang out with her surfer dude bros, is because, like, yeah, you don't think at one point or another they're gonna want to try you. He doesn't want the relationship, the boat to rock, nothing rocking the boat. So he's gonna take contingencies to avoid problems. I like you. I want to be with you. I want to be serious with you. I just don't want you doing this X, Y, and Z. I was like, yeah, she was a server before, you know, he met her. Now you want to change all that. Girls ask guys to change a lot of their own stuff up, and we don't give them pushback. And more often than not, they like to give you ultimatums if you do. And it's like, I like this chick, so it's like, you met me, you know, when I was a motorcycle guy. Now you don't want me to be ride my motorcycle no more. That's where you have a good conversation, so where you minimize that, or at the very least. It's like, she doesn't want you to hang out with certain of your guy friends. Why? Because your guy friends probably are idiots and might lead you into some kind of trouble that, you know, might threaten your relationship with her. Girls do it all the time, and nobody gives them pushback because they have that luxury that they don't realize they have, that privilege that they have. Guys don't get that leeway. When we say we don't want something, you know, we don't like something, respect it, or at least have a conversation with us about it so we can make some adjustments. But, you know, he's not controlling you when you say he doesn't want you dressing like that, or he doesn't like you dressing like that. It's clearly like you don't want some guys trying to, like, you know, like feeling themselves, or, you know, get out of pocket trying to like holler at you, woo woo. It's like, dress a little modestly. Okay, you can still have your curves if you dress a little classier. Like the dressing, like to say, don't want to like give him the impression like the dress wasn't classy. It was classy. It was a, you know, nice dress and everything like that, but it was a bit revealing. And, you know, the guy doesn't want you have like a posting Instagram pics with you half naked. Do you really need to be a thong while you know, waxing your surfboard and, you know, making Instagram stuff? It's like, you got to cut that out. That's my boundary. Like, you getting away with all this other stuff. It's just this one or two thing like I want you not to do. And like how much he will think about how much he will love you so much if you just say, yes, babe. Hey, babe. Like, you know, I'm thinking about wearing this outfit with my, you know, while I'm out with my girlfriends. Yeah, can you change into something that isn't so revealing? Because I can, you know, cleavage is all out in the open, like blah, blah, blah. Yes, babe. Can you, you know, stop posting like, you know, bikini pics on your Instagram? Like, yes, babe. And it's like, he'll love you so much. It's like, I don't get pushback. Can you imagine that he'll love you? It's only gonna benefit you in the long run. He's like, you do this small gesture for me, and it's like, oh my god, I got a real one. I'll just, you know, like, I want to take her on a freaking trip. Like, I really want to spoil her. I want to go to the jewel. Tomorrow I want to, you know, buy her like a nice little necklace, because it's like she's just so good to me. It's like she rarely argues with me about stuff. It's like, just, and it's like, you know, people are confused, like some feminists or females like confuse submissive to being enslaved or something like that. It's just, be agreeable. It's like, he's fulfilling all your needs, he's checking all your boxes. You're in a serious relationship for a reason, because if he didn't check all your boxes, you wouldn't even be in this stage in your life. Clearly, he's a good man, and like, and you trust him. If he's loyal to you, he's respectful, and all that stuff, then you should not have no problem following his lead. If like he feels something that like clearly he doesn't find kosher, it's like he asks you to like, hey, stop this, or minimize this, or don't go here, or, you know, hey, like, don't eat that, because you know how you're gonna feel like you're bloated and blah 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 later on. So why don't you just try this instead? Woo woo. He's not controlling you, he's trying to look out for you. This is not that dissimilar to how, you know, not to treat like women like they're children or anything like that, but it's not that dissimilar how parents are with their kids. It's like, hey, I don't want you doing X, Y, and Z, because that's going to lead to a bad outcome. That's all there is to it. But it's just guys who can't seem to have boundaries no more. You enter a relationship, you got to make some adjustments, men and women. Guys can't hang out with stupid boys, you know, out at certain clubs all hours of the night anymore. If, you know, your girl's not cool with that. It's like, yeah, that's fair. He doesn't want you posting like half naked pics on Instagram. You know, can you cut that out? hey, that's fair. Because we've been good to each other, we're doing all this stuff, and it's like this one thing that you don't want happening. I'm gonna like concede on that. That is fair. But like, you know, a lot of women, not all women, but a lot of women, like, they have the cake and eat it too. You get to have boundaries, but you get to also set the terms of a relationship, and he does not get a say. And that is not a healthy relationship. And this girl posting his business out there clearly is out of bitterness. There's no way to not look at it that way, especially if he's entering a new relationship with a girl who's fulfilling his needs and clearly is agreeable, and not like, you know, posting all God knows what on the internet, and he's having like a baby by, and now a year or so later you're posting his business out there because, like, I'm warning you, you're not a hero, but posting his business out there to try to ruin any kind of reputation he has just to feel like you some kind of martyr for the feminist movement. Cut that crap out. Clearly you're not. You're no hero for that. You clearly are spiteful. And like, Darius had no business posting, because clearly it's out of reaction after seeing like what was happening in real time. He shouldn't have posted her, you know, all that stuff on the internet. He should just be a man with your girls at home and have a conversation with her. And that's all there is to it. And then like they'll figure something out. And I think it's just, you can't make excuses for women. When they doing wrong, you gotta call that out. They don't get a pass because they have a vagina. Okay? And it's not like sticking it to the male patriarchy if you, you know, let a girl just do whole stuff. I'm sorry. You know, it just, there's certain things, it's like you gotta move different when you're in a relationship. It's just all there is to it. It should be any pushback. Oh, it's like, it's just like, you know, we used to know that. Okay, guys can't go around sticking that thing in every random chick because, like, well, you knew me as a player before you entered this relationship, so why are you acting brand new now? No, dude, you gotta switch that up. You're in a serious relationship with this girl and she's treating you right. Cut that, you know, player crap out. Girls, you know, you gotta decide for yourself what's more important: this guy who's been good to you and is loyal to you, respects you, and all the other stuff, or your Instagram. Because when you're talking about somebody being a narcissist, I think like person who like to post tons of selfies and duck lips and half-naked pictures is probably way more narcissistic, you know, by comparison. But that's just my thoughts on the subject. And like, be respectful in the comments to each other, where you're on Kiki's side or Darius' side or Jonah's side or the several girls' side. You know, just be respectful, healthy dialogue. But it's just something it's on my mind. There's so much this weekend. It's like, man, I wanted to talk about it so bad, because this is like wild to me that a guy just cannot have like a boundary. At least give them a boundary, or at least allow them some grace to say like, hey, he's not cool with this, I'm going to tone it down. Sweetie is like a good example of like, hey, she, you know, she kept it in mind. Sure, maybe the Keke Palmer thing was, you know, swirling in the zeitgeist at the time, so she like, okay, I'm gonna not. But it's like, she did what she's supposed to do, being in a relationship, and she's respecting her man. It's like, no, thank you. I'm not, you know, comfortable, you know, just, you know, coming up on stage and dance with you. I'm good. You're fine, kind of thing. And like, that's how you're supposed to do it. Can you imagine? Like, I know it will sound petty, but can you imagine if Darius goes out at like a, you know, Ice Spice or Cardi B concert, and she sees him on like the front row and pulls him on stage and grinding on him and doing his extra stuff because he wearing like a muscle shirt, and it's like, you know, guns are showing, the veins popping and all this stuff. It's like in the shitstorm he will get for that. But it's like, you won't keep the same energy. You know you won't. I'm just saying, you know you won't keep that same energy for him, because the favoritism you applied to Keke Palmer. We all love Keke Palmer, but she doesn't get a pass. She did wrong. She crossed the line, a clear line for him at the least, and like, respect each other's boundaries. And it's like, it's like, you know, girls get to have boundaries, guys can't, apparently. But it's like, but no, everybody has their route to that boundary, and like, this is what I want in a relationship. You can take it or leave it, but if you want to leave it, God bless you on your future journeys. But you understand, and you want to, like, you know, hey, like, then we can, you know, do something. But like, you gotta like allow that for both men and women. I don't think it's controlling if you're requesting that. It'd be controlling if he's forcing her to stay when she doesn't want to. That'll be controlling. Be holding hostage, to be frank. But like I said, he's throwing around these words and don't even freaking know any the meaning of them. Anyway, I will see you all later tonight. I'll be streaming a little bit more of FF16. Get me something to eat 'cause I'm starving. I went to the gym. I only had like vitamin water, you know, today. So I will see y'all soon. Take care. Have a great night.